What's up, babies? It's time. Let's start a new chapter. This time we're going to be going to the Port of Badon. It's going to be a bonus chapter, so it'll be a little bit on the quicker side. Thank Christ, am I right? God damn, these chapters have been going on for a little too long, so I'm all for a short chapter. Anyway, I mentioned last time this is one of my favorite chapters, and, well, it just is. You'll see why in a minute. It's a short chapter if you play it a certain way. However, there's a bit of a different, there's some different ways you can go about doing this chapter. Depending on your playstyle and what you really care for, you can do it one way, you can do it another way. I'm going to try and show off all the ways possible at the same time, because that's just how I roll. Anyway, this is also kind of weird, because if you don't do the chapter, this is actually a semi-plot relevant, chapter, because it explains how you're getting to Dread Isle. So if you choose not to do this chapter, if you fail to unlock it, it's never really explained how you end up going to the Dread Isle. But that's neither here nor there. It's one of those things they had to compensate for. Please, just fucking give us the answer, dude. We got a dad to save. Pirates? Hey, look at me. I am the captain of this meme now. Ugh. So I don't think Lynn's gonna take a pirate offer too well because, well, it's Lynn. Remember how well Lynn's gotten along with pirates and bandits before? Yeah. Hector's like, yeah, fuck it, a hole's a hole. I can't blame him. I mean, they really don't have any choice. I kind of feel bad for Lynn, and you can understand, obviously, this is, obviously they're going to be a touchy subject for her. At the same time, what are Eliwood's options? It's either pirates or never see his dad again, most likely. Decisions there. And then we get to also learn about Hector's parents' death and how they died of illness. So that's one thing to keep in mind, because his parents did recently die, specifically his father. That means it was most likely a terminal disease. That sounds obvious, but that is something to keep in mind. And when I say keep in mind, I mean tuck that in the back of your fucking head, because you'll forget about it, and I guarantee I'll remind you of it when it comes time. But whatever. Too bad about your girlfriend. Mom and Dad aren't home. I can be your girlfriend if you like. Anyway, so let's meet up with those pirates. And over there for the fucking freebooters. How dare you call them freebooter? Oh god, I love when they move quickly with that. Look at this beauty on the left here. Look at him with salty old strip of the earth. Oh man. Let's rule 34 this character, because I know I'm getting hot and bothered. Man, never been pirate in a minute. That is kind of a funny way to phrase it. Whew, reading us out for filth. Yeah, Eliwood's kind of, he's very blue-bloodish. It's hard for him not to be of nobility, if that makes sense. Whereas with Lynn and Hector, you get the vibe that they can be very, crass and down to earth. It's almost like the inverse problem with Eliwood. He's almost too hoity-toity. Hey, why should he be scared of you? He's a fucking sword user. He's got the weapon triangle advantage. Anyway. Fargus, huh? Fargus is a weird name. I thought Fargus was Scottish. And its name said, whatever. Who cares? I'm not an etymologist. I don't know. I'm just passing the time. As much as it costs, man. Holy moly. Holy. That is more money than I think we have last time I checked. Yeah, that's a lot of money, dude. I don't know. I mean, I've heard they've got good loan sharks in the port of Badon last time I checked. Oh, arena. Wow. Damn. You know, if you've never played this game before, or a Fire Emblem game in the first place, you wouldn't understand the severity of that line. What Eliwood's implying is basically like fucking throwing himself into a ring of murder and coming out the victor just to get some gold. And so, I mean, he's you know, more power to Eliwood. Sometimes he's a determined man. And look, it's a guy. And no, that's not his hair. That's actually just a bandana. Oh, does he now? Is he gonna taunt us about how much gold we don't have? What? Come again? You know, that doesn't sound like a normal thing to tell someone. But, okay. 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 Yeah. That's a very important line to keep in mind now. So this character that we're talking to is Dart, and he's explaining the ground rules of this chapter. It's going to be a very unusual chapter. There's not many Fire Emblem chapters I can think of that are like this. Instead of seizing, routing, defending, or any victory conditions like that, our goal here is just to talk to a specific character, in this case Fargus. And we literally can talk to him with whomever. It does not matter. It can be Eliwood, it can be Oswin, it can be Urk, it can be fucking anyone. The most important thing is that we do not attack him. Because if we attack him, at that point the chapter becomes unwinnable. Literally, there's no way to come back from it. So, it's definitely... It's one of the most unique chapters in the series just for that alone, because there's no situation... I'm sure there's probably another chapter in some game that maybe I haven't played, but I can't think of any off the top of my head right now where if you have to talk to a boss rather than kill them. Just for that alone, I think it's a really cool chapter. More importantly, though, there's going to be a weird way the enemy AI functions in this chapter as well, and I'll demonstrate that in just a second. First things first, though, we gotta land back to explain to her we're gonna be killing some pirates, which I'm sure she's not objecting to. Alrighty, and so preparation screen shouldn't take too long, but I'm still gonna be cutting it out, so I will see you guys in a quick second. Alright guys, let's get this chapter started. So, one thing to immediately point out, we are going to start on this side of the map, and Fargus, all the way right here. One thing also to note, Fargus is not a fucking easy boss to beat. If you should decide to try and attack him, just for shits and giggles to see how it goes, he does not fuck around. He is a pretty difficult boss for this point of the game. He has a ton of HP. He's a berserker, which this will be the first time you've seen a berserker. What you need to know about them is that they have a crazy high critical rate, and he has a critical weapon. So, you know, all things considered, even being able to kill Fargus at this point would be a noteworthy achievement, but we're not doing that. So, what we're going to be doing first off is, there's going to be a path up here. As you can tell, it's kind of like a back alley situation. It's not going to be in this main square right here. We want to avoid this area for now, specifically because we want to go back here. These units, if we attack them and aggro them, they're not going to, like, they won't alert the entire chapter. Like, because these guys, if we get to a certain point in this area, right here, this is the line, the invisible line, rather. If we go here at any point, then these guys are going to aggro, and then they're going to start attacking. So that's something we really need to be careful of early on. We can deal with them, certainly, but we do want to be prepared, because some of them do not fuck around. This guy has an L-Fire, which is pretty dangerous for this point of the game. This guy's a silver axe. I think one of them was a killer axe. Yeah, this one. So yeah, all things considered, these guys have some pretty difficult weapons to deal with, and it's definitely more in your interest to play it safe. Like I said, however, I'm going to be a fucking baller, and I'm going to be taking both paths. So for here, typically if you have Raven, this would be a great area to send him up. Especially because this will give him a great opportunity to get some experience. He'll be able to fucking shit on these pirates. And it's typically what I do whenever I recruit Raven. However, because we don't have him, we can't do it, sadly. So we'll have to deal with that for now. And then in the meantime, let's visit these houses that are nearby. One of them I'm specifically going to be visiting for reasons you'll see in a second. The other ones I'll just visit because fuck it. And by the way, this is this character on the left. She is, I don't know this way. She's kind of like a Fire Emblem mascot almost. She's a recurring character by the name of Anna, and she appears in most Fire Emblem games from, I believe it's either 5 or 6 onwards. I know she's in 6 at some point. And what happens is she's kind of like your narrator slash like assistant character. She's not ever in a plot directly, at least until Awakening, but she does give, like, you know, she'll, like, if we try to suspend our game, she'll be like, okay, are you sure you want to do that, blah blah blah. So she's kind of neat in that sense. Anyway, she has a minor role in this chapter. She explains, like I just said, the narrow path that's to the left, or to the right of her rather, and blah 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 blah. Yeah, and we won't have to aggro Fargus' crew, which is nice. Yeah, of course. Yeah, so that's a nice little cameo from Anna. And I guess just to prove that I was telling the truth. See, there. So that's neat and all. Anyway, this house is going to be extremely important because when we visit it, we're going to get a new character. And this is going to be one of the most unique characters in the game. For reasons you'll find out in a few seconds. But for now, look at that purple hair and that monocle. Isn't he badass? I like him. Too bad I never use him. Yeah, so this guy is Canas, not Kansas. I had a friend who I grew up with who named him Kansas. And I don't know why. There's no second S there. It's definitely Canas. So anyway, this guy, if you can't tell, looks more like he's going to be on the magic side. And you're right. Just kidding, he's an axe user. No, really, he's a mage. However, he is going to be a specific mage that we have not gotten before. A dark mage. Although, as you can see, he doesn't prefer that term. He calls it elder magic. He's one of those types where it's like, oh, may I go to the bathroom? Like, you know, whatever. Anyway, Canas is a very interesting unit because he's the only dark magic user you get in the game, aside from one other unit, but you don't really... that's more of a technicality. But either way, so for all intents and purposes, this is the only... How about this? He's the only dark mage you're going to get, because that's the truth. So with that in mind, dark mages are kind of a mixed bag. A lot of the time they can be extremely helpful because dark magic tends to be probably the most broken or unbalanced magic in the game. Specifically in this game, that's one of the best examples. There's going to be one tome that you can get as a dark magic tome. It completely fucking obliterates this game. So yeah, and that's very convenient for Canas. The biggest problem, if you haven't already noticed, is that his stats are not that spectacular starting out. He's not going to be doubling too many enemies, and he starts at level 8, which is pretty far behind where we are right now, and this is normal mode. So with that in mind, he's not going to be doing too much early on, and these next few chapters are going to be pretty hard to actually catch units up, because that's when they start getting more aggressive units, and as you can tell, the enemies are already starting to get a lot more challenging. However, he's still a good unit to pick up, if only because he starts with a secret book, which is 2 free skill points, and he's literally right there. There's no excuse not to get him if you're going to this chapter. So I'm going to send him over here. Like I said, I do like Canas. It's just a shame that I never really use him because most of his support options are kind of inconvenient. And that said, I mean, it's just... He's always an afterthought of a character for me. I never actively think, oh, I should use Canas. Like, it's always like, oh yeah, Canas exists. Oh well. If you do make the effort to use him, he does end up being very good, assuming that you don't get screwed out on some stats. Like, if you don't get abysmal skill with him, he ends up being pretty dang useful. So, I would advise him if you're interested in using a dark magic user, mostly because he's literally the only one you're going to get. Okay, asterisk. He's the only dark mage you're going to get. Whatever. So that's Canas in a nutshell. He's going to be the only character we're getting in this chapter for now, so let's move on to the meat of the chapter. There's this guy. To find it, yeah, whatever. Yeah, give us a cursed axe. Yeah, I do not care. So this is going to be the Devil Axe. What does that do? Well, it is an extremely powerful weapon. Well, not extremely powerful. It's okay. The catch is that sometimes it can damage you instead of your opponent, and if that happens, you're more than likely going to kill yourself. So it's not really that tactically advantageous. It's probably a little bit more powerful than a steel axe or hammer with better accuracy, but it's a big risk. So I don't recommend using it personally. I would just get it just for the sake that it's going to increase your gold count, and that's it. Yeah, beyond that, that's going to be this chapter. As you can see, no one's approaching from the left. It's only this guy. And Dorcas is going to make quick work of him. I would prefer if Oswin could get some kills here, because he's actually, like I said in last chapter, our lowest level unit, but the weapon triangle disadvantage is not doing him favors. Oh well. Shoot. Let's do this. Okay. And then Lynn and Kent. It would be really nice if by the time I'm done with Oswin and Dorcas, I can get Lynn and Kent to A rank, just because that would make this section a lot more convenient for my needs and purposes. We'll see what I mean. This guy's gonna be a pain because of Florina. Yeah, I hate this guy too. I hate all these enemies. As much as I love this chapter, these fuckers, I hate them. Oh well. Oh, he appears anyway. Okay, so this is gonna be Damien. This is why this chapter is fun. So here's gonna be another boss who joins the chapter. And, God, look at that nose. Look at that fucking crow doctor nose. Yeah, this is Damien. He is by far my favorite boss. He has very good dialogue, and he just appears. And he also does not give a fuck. Thankfully, because we're on normal mode, he does not approach. He's not going to approach us until we get in range, so basically until we get to this line. In-game, there's no real reason for him to be waiting for us, because he's not part of Fargus's crew, he's not part of the quote-unquote game, but the game gives you a bit of a break here because it assumes that you're probably still getting your feet, you know, on the ground for the situation. So, that's convenient, if nothing else. If anything, the biggest problem is going to be, what are we going to do when... or not when, if we aggro all these enemies at once. And just looking at my time, unfortunately, I'm starting to think I'm probably going to have to split this up. That's a shame. I was actually really looking forward to doing this, but whatever. I'd rather not have another 40-minute segment, to be honest. I'm trying to avoid those like the plague. Yeah, so what I'm likely going to do is I'm going to get to this house with someone, probably Dorcas, and from there... we are going to have Dorcas and Oswin come back, and then we'll just fucking bum rush it. Fair warning, I'm probably going to put a save state here just because it'll save me that much time, because I'm impatient. There's another guy. Yeah, this chapter is just really fun in general because, like I said, it's one of the most unique chapters in the entire series. I've yet to play a game that has a chapter like this. The closest thing I can really think of off the top of my head would be Fire Emblem Path of Radiance's Prisoner Release, and even then, that's kind of different in not the best way either. And for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, don't worry. We'll get to that eventually in our lives, but yeah. Okay. Cool. As long as you're getting decent level ups, I mean... you certainly leave a lot to be desired, but as long as you're usable, who cares? So one important thing to note is that, even though we're right here, if we go into range like here-ish, these guys, at least as far as I recall, won't attack you, which is very convenient. And it also means that we'll be able to just run up to Fargus and be like, hey, what's up, girl? Yeah. So I'm going to send Oswin all the way back here. And this is going to be, if I'm not mistaken, a Lance Reaver. I think it is, I want to say. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's a lance reaver, okay. Incredible sword to take against lances, because there's so many lance users in these pirates. Granted, there actually is, there are some cavaliers near the bottom that just spawn, so. That's kind of useful in and of itself. And then these two houses, this is going to be a sleep staff, which is extremely useful and relevant to my interests. This is going to be a short bow, which is not. Beyond that, yeah, I'm just thinking how I want to plan this out. Actually, fuck it. I know how I'll end this segment. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to be stupid. I made a save state. So, oh, by the way, here's Dart. He shows up in the chapter for no good reason. You're not able to recruit him yet, but he does join your chapter, I think 2 chapters after this. So, he automatically joins as long as you don't kill him here, which you have no reason to, because even if you do aggro all these guys, he will never attack you. Anyway, I was getting sidetracked. So here's Fargus. Here's Dorcas. For shits and giggles, I'm going to fight Fargus with Dorcas. I've already made a save state, so now, this will be basically the end of the chapter. Let's walk up to Fargus like so. As you can see, there's a talk option. Oh, there's an attack option. Fuck it, YOLO. Oh man, this music. Oh gosh, this is a mistake. If you didn't see those stats real briefly, I did, and this is a mistake. Yep. Yep. Yeah, look at those stats and weep. Oh my god, he didn't die. Wow. That is impressive. What moon calves. I love that line. Just because moon calves, I always thought it was moonclaves, and I never knew what a moonclave was. And now that you've attacked Fargus, not only have you fucked yourself out of winning the chapter, you've also aggroed all these guys, who are going to rain blood and thunder down your throat. However, because this was not canon, so to speak, this is not going to be how we're doing this chapter. We are going to reload that save state. Oh, son of a bitch. Oh, no. Okay, good. Okay, I had a moment there. You probably heard it in the tone of my voice. It would have been annoying, but, yeah. So, that is going to mark the end of this segment. Next time I do save pages, I'm not going to fucking worry myself with that. I'm debating if I want to start out with Kent and win it in support A. I probably won't just because I'm lazy. And beyond that, we'll get to the meat of this chapter. And we even get to see the arena briefly, which I don't plan on using too much, to be honest, but I do want to show it off. So yeah, we have some fun stuff to look forward to next segment. So with that in mind, I will see you all tomorrow, bright and early. Actually, I don't know, bright and early. I'll see y'all when I see y'all. That'll be next chapter. So until then, Yarrr.